Tusoteuthus is an extinct cephalopod genus that lived during the Cretaceous. Although it is often referred to as a squid, and it is about the same size as a giant squid of today, Tusoteuthus was more likely closely related to octopus. This cephalopod lived in the ancient western interior seaway of North America. This inland sea divided the North American continent into two land masses. Fossils of this animal have been found in Kansas, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Colorado, and Montana. The maximum depth of the western interior seaway was about 182 meters or 600 feet. This means they lived at a relatively shallow depths when compared to present-day squids, which lurk between 300 to 600 meters or 1,000 to 2,000 feet below the ocean's surface. Although it was one of the largest cephalopods to have ever lived, there's surprisingly very little known about this animal. The name Tusoteuthus is derived from the Latin word teuthus, which means crushed, and the Greek word tenthus, which translates as squid. Thus, Tusoteuthus literally means crushed squid, alluding to the fragmentary condition of the fossil gladis when they were first discovered. Like modern squid and many other cephalopods, Tusoteuthus did not have an outer shell. Instead, the rigid internal structure called a gladis or pen is the only preservable part of the animal. It is similar to a backbone. The gladis supports a fleshy body and head with large eyes and a sharp beak. This has made it difficult to estimate the size or recreate the appearance of this genus. This is because the gladis of Tusoteuthus is actually more like the gladis of vampire squids in its form. If this is correct, the Tusoteuthus would have had similar body proportions to the vampire squid, with a much stockier body than the giant squid. Unfortunately, without soft tissue preservations, even in the form of rock impressions, we will never know what the exact body proportions of Tusoteuthus were. All we can do is make the best guess given the presumed size of the animal. Such preservations is extremely unlikely unless a smaller juvenile was somehow preserved. Hope should not be lost, however. The soft tissue of other cephalopod genera such as Proto-octopus, Vampronissa, and Paleo-octopus are also known, though these specimens are small individuals. Their small size means that less sediment would be required to bury and preserve them. In addition, scientists believe Tusoteuthus had 10 arms or tentacles which were used to catch prey. Older estimates of its length include the head, arms, and feeding tentacles were about 11 meters or 36 feet. It would have made it slightly smaller than giant squids. However, more recent revisions have compared the size of the cephalopod to the vampire squid. This makes it significantly smaller than earlier estimates. If the Tusoteuthus were more similar to the vampire squid, they would have had a stockier body, shorter length, and about 6 meters or 20 feet. Scientists believe it was a powerful hunter with a varied diet that would have included different fish species and cephalopods. It may have hunted smaller marine reptiles as well. Now, although the Tusoteuthus was a large predator, other animals likely preyed on this cephalopod. Predator fish and marine reptiles like the Mosasaurus that would have preyed on Tusoteuthus. There's one instance of a large squid being attacked by a predator preserved in fossil record. One specimen of Kraken nebulolic, a close relative of salmon, was preserved with a gladis of a Tusoteuthus in its throat. The fish most likely suffocated while trying to swallow the squid, and both were preserved together. In addition, many fossils were found in 85 to 80 million year old Nimburo-Chuluk Formation, which includes very little is known about when the genus died off or what was responsible for its demise. However, since they did not survive beyond the Cretaceous, experts suggest that they died off as a result to the KGP mass extinction, the extinction event that marked the end of the Cretaceous period.